Well, now, Judy Austin, she seems to recall that you and Dad came to San Diego, where she and her parents were living, before you got married.
I don't think Pop came down.
No, she remembers very vividly
Does she?
him being there, and the two of you were there, and it was before you got married. The two of you were at her house in San Diego. Do you remember that at all?
Is that when you bought the fuzzy slippers?
I don't remember that at all. I can remember going down there. Yes, I remember going down there with my father, who is in the telephone business, and in a car with 3 others. I remember Mr. Johns was the driver, and then my father up in front. And then there was a woman, I've forgotten her name, but she's a very pleasant woman. They were all going down to San Diego on business, and I wanted to go down. And so my dad said, well, you know, come join, we'll take you down. And I don't know if I ever tell you this. They took us down, and normally it takes an hour and a half, but they stopped all along the way for drinks. The Victor Hugo, you know, all along the way. They stopped. Here I am sitting, but they didn't get drunk. And I'm not sure, the driver, I'm sure, wasn't involved in that. But
oh, the driver wasn't your dad?
No. The driver, I don't know who my dad.
Oh, it was a company car and a company driver?
It was a company car, and I remember Mr. Johns and my dad, and then this other lady. I think there were 4 of us all together. And of course I worried about it all the time. Because, you know, I wasn't drinking, and neither was the lady with me. But so my dad and Mr. Johns, who were buddies, stopped all along the way. Oh, I hated it. And when we got down, I was staying, and I think my father was staying with David and Jean. And Judy she must have been about 2 or 3 at the time, so that would probably be in the early 40s.
Well, she would have been. She was born in 1940.
Yeah.
So she would have been around 6.
She's born. No, this was in about 1943 or so when we went down.
Well, she, as I say, she remembers distinctly.
Oh, she does.
You being there with Dad.
She does.
She says, I remember them sitting in chairs, and that there was some big window. Like
in their house.
Yeah, the chairs were on either side of the window or something like that.
So
she distinctly remembers that.
I'm not sure, but Judy is a brilliant person, and I wouldn't be at all surprised. She was a merit scholar. She was one of the first merit scholars, and I meant to bring this up the other day. She was interviewed on
the Today
TV.
The Today Show or something.
Yeah, the Today Show with Dave Garroway. And you know, here's a 16-year-old kid, a merit scholar, and I'll never forget this. So Dave Garroway asked her, you know, what did she want to do, expecting some really brilliant answer. When she was an adult, she said, I want to get married.
Oh, God. And then she didn't get married until she was 57.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. She didn't. Yeah.
So you don't remember when he proposed to you?
No, I don't.
Okay, Shar has another. Describe how you got to Rehoboth before the Bay Bridge was built.
That was it was ferry boats. Ferry boats, you had to line up. And sometimes it would take you an hour and a half or 2 hours to get your car. You know, they ran these ferries as fast as they could. And my feeling is there were 2 of them working back and forth. And you know, when would that be? When would the bridge?
53.
Was that not until then?
I mean, I think it was 53.
Did I?
When the bridge
Did
was
I
built?
ever go across on the ferry?
Well, you were born in 53.
53. So the bridge was built by the time I was born, or?
It must have been.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You know, you're asking me. Okay.
Okay, did you and Pop spend most of your summer vacations at Rehoboth before Charlotte was born?
Yeah, we did.
That's only a
Well,
few.
of course, now that's not exactly true, no. Grandma Burbank, no, we didn't. First of all, before Charlotte was born, I remember taking the bus and riding across the United States on the Greyhound. It was a terrible trip. And the Greyhound stations were a mess.
You and Pop?
Pop and I, yeah. And, you know, I can remember the driver. We started out in Baltimore, and by the time I can reach Wheeling, West Virginia, I can remember that horrible restroom there. And the driver suddenly being aware that we're on that bus for the next 3 days or so, he gave us preferred seating. And that was some trip.
So you were just trying to get to California?
Yeah.
You weren't trying to see the U.S.?
No, no. And there were two fares. And so the driver was trying to make it as easy as he could for us. That, wow. Once is enough on that. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, that's an
Wait. Ah.
This is cute,
Get that
Rosie.
Sony moment.
It's cute. What kind of cake is it?
It's chocolate
Oh, okay.
with cherry ice cream.
All right, can she
Am I
do it?
ready? Am I ready to blow?
All right.